What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. It is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, year of our Lord. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here today because we got another opportunity to do great things. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? You made it. We made it. It is the end of the year. It is show number 264 for the Millionaire Morning Show. Another year of no misses. We are absolutely, positively ecstatic that we are going into this new year. Tomorrow, it will be season 5, episode 1. And I got a lot of business to take care of today. So we got a lot of things that we got to get to. We got a full show that's planned for you guys. Once I get off of this live stream, I am going to be running up to my corporate position and trading in my computer. So this is officially, this computer is so beat up. I have put this, look at this mug. This mug is through the ringer. I got to take my corporate computer back into the job. I am dropping it off. And as I told you guys, this will be the end of the road of me at this particular position. Bag chasers, I do have a live stream that is planned for you guys tomorrow, almost directly after the live stream. So if you are not a part of the Patreon, join tomorrow, unless you're doing a yearly subscription. But join tomorrow, and we have a live stream that gets you started off right, and I'm going to get your budgets together. I'll also tell you guys exactly where I worked at because I have to update my LinkedIn to reflect that, and we're going to get it popping. So, yeah, man. It's another opportunity to do great things. Again, we have a full show plan for you guys. I just want to say, before we even get started with the show, that I do appreciate y'all. I do. Shout out to Ray Sean. I see that. I do appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all like never before. Like never before. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest of all time. It's you, because without you, we not sitting here today. You know what I'm saying? So what up, y'all? I hope y'all enjoyed the show last night. Again, we are a model of consistency. So going into next year, I think my studio gets finished today. I'm looking forward to that. I've also signed on to take over more space, so I'm expanding my office footprint here in downtown Detroit. So I've committed to Detroit, and it's gonna be interesting. So not this week, but I believe sometime after I get back from Las Vegas next week, we will be testing out things. And so we will be at some point, probably next week, showing you the new spaces. Obviously, I'm gonna get a behind the scenes footage for the bag chasers to show you how I have everything set up and what my next plans are next year as far as expanding my office footprint. And then on top of that, we just got great plans. So I got really, really big things that I'm looking forward to, that I'm getting into. And then we're gonna be moving into the new studio, and you'll see the Millionaire Morning Show being produced from a completely new space. All right. So yeah, man, we got a lot going on. I do plan on live streaming tonight on After Hours, so make sure y'all tap in. We just gonna live stream for a hot 2 hours, and we gonna get it in, and we gonna run it up. So yeah, man, new things, new opportunities, new money to get, new everything, new everything. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all absolutely awesome. Shout out to y'all. I just cannot express my gratitude and being grateful enough to every single person here. I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all holding me down. You know, the chat is my co-host of the show. And we might even have new uniforms. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Anyways, what's going on, y'all? I see y'all in the chat. What up? What up? What up? What up, y'all? All right. I just wanted to see what y'all talking about. Keisha, you got to be tuned in tonight, baby. You got to be tuned in tonight on After Hours. So we going to talk about it. All right. Anyways, I do see that there's still Dusties that's sticking around. If you stick around long enough, hopefully you not Dusty yourself. You know, for you to hang around for so long, let me just get my last rant out. It's going to be a very small, it's going to be a mini rant. For some of y'all to be sticking around as long as y'all have, and I know I have a lot of silent supporters, like a lot of people that tune in and watch the show that never comment, right? For some of y'all to be sticking around and watching on a regular basis, and year after year, you still Dusty, I'm not going to take responsibility for that, because you have to make your own life choices. You got to really want to level up. Like, you got to wake up and say, you know what? I just want to be a different person. And this is not even me going off. This is not even me ranting. This is just a real life conversation. Like, don't y'all wake up sometimes and be like, man, I want to be better? Like, do you still want to just be, and I don't want to paint a vivid picture, because you know I'm good at that. I could talk about, you riding around with no license, no insurance, and all of that stuff. But at some point, don't you be like, man, I want more for myself, instead of whining and complaining and sad that somebody else is rich and stuff. Like, do y'all ever, like, when I went out to Miami, right? And I lived in Miami during the pandemic for like 4 months. And I was doing really, really, really well for myself. I mean, I was doing incredibly well. I had been significantly wealthy, according to hood standards. I was certainly in the millions, several million up. Net worth was booming and exploding. And when I rode down to go over from Miami to Miami Beach, and you leave Biscayne and you drive over, and you're driving over to Miami Beach, and you see this big black boat. Now, you thought I was gonna say something else. I got that in my pants. You see this big black boat, and it's a super yacht. It's a super yacht. And it just gave me some motivation like I've never seen before. I didn't look at that and say, you know what, these rich people, they just get on my nerves. I wonder how many products they had to sell to get that boat. I never felt like that. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, when I lived in Miami for the 4 months, I almost felt at home. I almost felt at home, because when I went over to the design district, or when I was over on Brickell and stuff like that, and the cars that I drive here that y'all love me for is normal there, that then gave me more motivation. And when I seen people, and I see people moving and shaking and doing their thing, I was thinking to myself, it's time to turn it up. It's time to level up. And that's why it's important for you to get out of your comfort zone and to get out and see the world and experience things. When you usually live in a downtown environment for a lot of y'all. Shout out to all of the super chats. I'm definitely gonna be reading those shortly. You seen that same Yada Rise? When you live in a downtown area, it changes you. Because when you go outside, and this is the difference between living in a city and living in the suburbs. When you go outside, you realize that, you know what, I got some work to do on myself. People are putting their effort in, they working, they moving, they it's usually a lot of biking, it's a lot of exercising. People are walking around, they got on their Sunday's best as far as like, they got on they they dress shoes and their dress boots, and the women are putting in the effort, and they do their hair, and they usually go to the gym before or after they go out to, to their jobs or whatever meetings that they got going on. And you see content creators and you see businesses going up, and people are really putting their best foot forward. You become a part of your environment, and so that's one of the reasons why it's important, and why I will probably always have a place right in the heart of the city, because it gives you more motivation and inspiration, because everybody is fit. Everybody take care of business. If you go to Miami, you might be a hot 4 or 5 to them in Miami, but in your small suburban town, you was a 9 or a 10. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing. It's not to say that you're inferior, but it tells you that you can't be content, and you got to continue to push. You got to continue to, motivate yourself. And I don't mean that everybody is a good person or nothing, but what I am saying is that you got to find your inspiration. You got to find a thing that pushes you. You got to find the people and surround yourself with people, not just because you've been with them for a long time, but people that'll push you to be the best version of yourself. That's what the goal is of what I do. Whether I'm trying to motivate you and getting on you and saying that you're being a little bit too dusty, or I'm trying to, inspire you by showing you the results and the receipts. You can't take everything to be negative. You can't be dusty and have that dusty mindset, and everything that somebody says, it's not inspirational, it's not motivational, and it's probably just because you've been in your circle too long and you're surrounded by people that are just like you. What I found is that people that got that hater mentality, they hang around people that got a hater mentality. People that have a hater mentality hang around and they're inspired by other people that got that same sentiment. Same thing. And it's being passed on, and they sharing it with each other. And if any one of them ever get out of line and they say, you know what, I want to do something different, the other haters is gonna rein them in, and they gonna convince them, hey man, you're not no better than nobody else. Who you think you are? Let's rein it in. I don't want to be around that type of energy. I don't want those type of people around me. I don't need that in my life. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm going, I don't need that. I want something better for myself. I want something better for the people that's around me. I don't want to be in a space where everybody keep talking about, oh man, you know what? You need to make sure that you street smart. I don't want to be street smart no more. I want to be corporate thugging. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be in the meetings with the hood. Listen, we got enough soul food restaurants. We got enough black churches on every single corner. We got enough car washes. We got enough laundromats. We got enough. You know what I'm saying? We got them. You have you ever tried to think about a startup that's much more, you know what I'm saying, that'll change the world? We got enough ATM machine coin operators. We have enough Amazon workers. We got more than enough. We got enough of those. Like you can be more than just opening up a hood spot. You can be more than just being a pastor of a church. You could be more than I want to buy a laundromat and be a coin machine. We have enough beauty salons. We got enough people selling hair. We got enough barbershops. We got enough of those. We got enough of all of the hood dreams. We got enough rappers. We got enough football players. We got enough liquor stores. We got enough mobile car washes. We got enough of all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever dreamed bigger? Have you ever had anybody that motivated you to be even more than whatever it is that you what? Yeah, we got enough day clubs and enough night spots, and we got enough bottles and enough sections in a club. Like, You ain't never been around nobody. I was talking to a guy today, honest to God, honest to God. I went downstairs to go and get my hot chocolate because I usually drink tea or hot chocolate. And I went downstairs, and a guy that sit next to me at the game, and one of the reasons why you want to get those type of tickets and stuff like that is because you network effectively. So the guy that's sitting next to me at the game is the same guy that built my building. He built this building and he's building the hotel space, him and his investor group. And they were inviting me to come into the meetings because they wanted to see where I could fit in and all of this and stuff like that. And so we having these conversations, right? And I said, yeah, man. So I see they working hard and they working on New Year's Eve and stuff like that. He said, yeah. He said, let me tell you, Anton, what's going on. And this is why you want to be in the know because, you know, I could put you in touch with this guy and I could put you in touch with this guy. I said, what's going on? He said, you know why they working on New Year's Eve? He said, you know why they work almost every single day except for the major holidays? I said, what? He said, because we got all of this type of business coming into Detroit. So we got to be done by, you know, the end of 2026 with this hotel, because if you've seen that AC hotel that just got built on Woodward, the reason is because we got the Final Four coming to Detroit in 2027, and we got to have the kinks worked out on this, and we got to have this done, and we got to have this done, and so on and so forth. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so where do I fit in this? Because it's important because I got the biggest voice in the city. And he said, okay. So listen, let me show you something. And I did this and this. And so the Michigan GOP is doing this. And so the conversations are different. The conversations are different. We're talking about expanding footprint and where you fit in and where I fit in and how we can work together. Those are the type of conversations that we need to be being a part of. But because we keep on, we such haters. We are such haters. We are such haters. We hate when another one of you in the culture is doing well. We hate progress. We hate for somebody else to be winning. Instead of you saying, how could I be a part of that team? Where can I add value at? We say, see, y'all making another man rich. What? Like, ain't you tired of that? You know what I'm saying? Ain't you tired of that? You're not tired of that eat, because that eats you alive. That when you go to sleep at night, you don't feel good when you wake up in the morning, and you got that hater mentality. You want to see somebody break up. You want to see somebody going to jail. You want to see somebody's business closed. You want to see somebody get deplatformed. You want a sense of free speech. You just want all the negative things. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never asked like, hey man, how did you get there? You got to fix you because and let me just say this last thing. You being negative is not going to stop anybody else from getting richer. You being negative is not going to slow down any other opportunities from the people. Winners win. Winners win. They figure it out. It doesn't stop anything from anybody. It just teaches them how to avoid certain types of people so that they don't have them it creates a better filter. You moving the way that you move is not going to stop you from not being able to retire when you get older and being a greeter at Walmart. Winners win. Winners it doesn't slow down the movement. All you doing is shooting yourself in the foot and preventing yourself from being even more successful. Got to clear the way. Got to clear the way. Eliminate that stuff. Listen, the haters not going to hear it, but maybe one of them we can pull out of the dust mites. But let me say this. This is really a message for the people that have an abundance mindset that need to divest themselves from people that have this negative mentality. I'm not speaking to them. I'm giving you the blueprint of how to identify the people that you need to get out of your sphere so that you can elevate to the next level. Somebody always crying, somebody always whining, they always talking about woe is me and all of that. Man, get out of that. Get away from them type of people. They will drag your spirit down. They will slow you down. They will have you feeling sad all day long because for some reason they can't get it together. Get away from that negative spirit. You're going to be successful anyway, but you can expedite the process by eliminating and letting them be dusty and go and lean on somebody else and take all of their vigor, take all of the. If somebody is always sad, it's always something wrong with them. It's always, they ain't never been able to do nothing for nobody else in a positive way, but they always me. Get away from that spirit. They have broken more people, and you next. You next for the Price is Right to be up on a broken spirit list. Get away from that. Ain't nothing in it. Ain't no money in it. Ain't no success in it. Some of the people y'all hate the most, they just keep winning and keep winning and keep winning. I hate the Kardashians. Facts. They toxic as hell, but for some reason they keep winning. How they keep winning? They get more hate and more negative press than anybody else I'd have never seen. But some reason, I keep seeing Skims boxes going out the door. Skims here, Skims there. They got a new business. They got a new show. Y'all keep tuning in to hate watch and they just running up the bag. They don't care. They don't even read comments. They don't see you. They don't see you. Next year is a year of abundance. Abundant mentality, abundant love, abundant relationships, abundant blessings, abundant money. Let's run it up. Let's run it up. Let me read some of these, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. First, let me go ahead and send up a prayer. Lord, bless us going into this new year to release that demonic hater spirit that has been carrying with us, that our mamas gave us, that they mamas gave them. Not my mama, but they mamas gave them. They mama gave them a generational curse, and we want to get that up off their back. Get that up off their back. Give them a new lease on life. Bless them to want more. Bless them to want more than to have bed bugs, than to have roaches, than to just have an average car. Lord, bless our people to stop lying to themselves and saying that it's okay to just be average. Bless them to read the story of the talents inside of the Bible so that they can understand that God despises average. God hates poverty, and he take the talents from the people that hid it just so they could say that they had it and give it to the person that is the most productive to ensure that they continue to push forward with his will. Bless us to know that average is not of you, and that is disrespectful for us to have all of this talent but not to be utilizing it and pushing forward and making this earth a better space had we not been here. Release us of this demonic spirit of oversaturation with average mentality that does not allow for us to be the best version of ourselves with our kids, because all we doing is giving generational curses to our children. Bless us to understand that every time we glorify hood mentality, all we doing is giving ourselves higher interest rates because they know where to put all of the drugs and where to put all of the cash advance places, and to have you taking out payday loans and using credit cards to justify trying to make yourself look good in front of people that nobody cares about. Bless us to leave dust and dusty mentalities in this year and go into the next year with an abundance mindset, knowing that we will be better off for it. In Jesus' name, amen. Your kids deserve better. Let me read some of these cash apps and super chats, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. Make sure you share this with your friends and family. Shout out to ESDC and Mike, that dude on Cash App. So consistent. I'm going to read these super chats, and we're going to get it popping. Ray Sean, my greatest student of all time. Classy Beats is trying to come for you, Ray Sean. He said, listen, I want it up too. Ray Sean says, good morning, Anton. Hope us all is well. If you didn't have a lifetime contract with Tiege, would you renegotiate every year? I renegotiate every 3 months. Every 3 months, we renegotiate. I sign three. I don't do 1 year contracts. I do 3 month contracts. That's just a little. Listen. I know I'm giving y'all a little bit too much from the Patreon. All right. 3-month contracts. My numbers are up. I wanted to get your thoughts. Also, Anton in chat, what word would you use to describe your 2024? Transformational. Transformational. Negotiate 3-month contracts. Not 1 year, 3 months. Because the numbers is going up so exponentially, they got to pay me differently. They got to pay me differently. I don't have 1 year, 6-month contracts. I have 3-month contracts. 4 times a year, we come back. They make me an offer. I do a counter offer. We meet somewhere in the middle. And then we go from there. Shout out to my girl Molly. I appreciate you. Thank you, my love. Cheers to you, Anton. Much success to you in 2025. We will be streaming on After Hours tonight, too. Jerry in the building says, thank you for all that you do, AD. Your hard work, dedication, and motivation you give never goes unnoticed. And Jerry, I've been noticing your consistency, too. I like that. I like that. I like Fried Rice. G says, just watch the latest Block Club. Wanted to ask, do you have an application fee? If so, do you keep the fees even if you don't pick those tenants? I do not have an application fee. When you nickel and dime people, you set the precedent for what type of tenant that you want. I do not have an application fee. For my goal and everything I do, whether it be with a tenant or people that I do business with, is to build great relationships. I want a long-term tenant. I want long-term tenants. I don't want any of that. So no, I do not have an application fee. I just want to pull the information and I want to find the best tenant. I don't care nothing about that. I need some understanding. Says, I enjoy your content and inspired me to start a YouTube channel. Just got monetized. Shout out to you for getting monetized and running up a bag. This is called adding value, ladies and gentlemen. 48 Law says, good morning to all bag chasers. Happy New Year. Thank you, Unc, for all of the knowledge you give. I have 3 Comic-Con appearances for my brothers and my business. Excited for the New Year blessings. Shout out to you, 48 Laws. I appreciate you and thank you for always pouring into what we got going on here. My dog, Chris James, says, last Millionaire Morning Show donation of the year, 2024 was a year. Oh my God, Acosta, what do you got going on here? Year gaining wisdom. 2025 will be the year of execution. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Chris James. You've been holding me down. Do it Alchemy Soap Company. Says, Happy New Year, Anton. Just wanted to say thank you for the motivation, insight, wisdom, and the community you've built from this channel. Thank you for investing not just monetarily, but with your passion. You and Miss Rita are appreciated. Thank you, Jules Soap Alchemy. Look at all of these. You see my people? You see why they love on me? Because I loved on them first. When I saw you and Rita in the first class this summer, you were working. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, I took a first class flight, then had my laptop with me. Success leaves clues. 2025 will be the best year ever. Salute to you, bro. And welcome into the city. Had to get you out of the suburbs too, my dog, Mr. Lot. Yeah. Alvin S. says, blessings, AD. Been rocking with you since September 2020 in Miami, 12/31/22. I appreciate all that you do to inform us and inspire us and give us a unique perspective. God bless you and the family in 2025. God bless you too, Alvin. I appreciate you. Victor says, morning, family. Good morning, Victor. Wealth building journey says, getting to the bag is not optional in 2025. Keep running it up and taking it to new heights. Shout out to the wealth building journey. Been very, very much consistent holding me down. My girl Mika says, good morning, AD. Happy New Year. Just observing AD is motivation. I love you. And Mika will be on the show tonight, y'all, just to let y'all know. Spider is in the building, says, I just came across the interview you did with Fleece Johnson. Did he make you feel uncomfortable? Very much so, with the type of money that we made together. When I cashed that check from me doing the interviews with Fleece Johnson, I said, oh, this type of money is uncomfortable. Me and Fleece, 2025, we got another interview coming. I guarantee it. Yeah. Ain't nothing like people that pay to get their thoughts read, and they still dusty. Humberto Ramos says, I live in SoFi, and I love riding downtown Miami and Palm Beach. It gives me motivation, and I say to myself, if they can do it, I can do it. Salute, Big Ant. Happy New Year to you and the fam. Cheers. Shout out to you, Anamboto. Jerry says, when they see you win and they say you uppity, struggle culture needs to stay in 2024. No, leave them to themselves. LeFleur says, thank you, Anton, for all of the knowledge that you be dropping on us. We appreciate all that you do to help us become greater than we used to be. We should always be growing, not just financially, but in our character as well. Shout out to you. I'm going to read a poster shortly. Shout out to Levi the Pair holding me down. I appreciate you. Mecca. Shout out to Mecca says, just add to the collection plate. I appreciate you. Moses says, let's run it up. Let's run it up, Moses. Chase Barnes, my dog, says Happy New Year Eve. AD and Peeps. So the interview was amazing. I watched an Interview Like a King video a few times. Powerful. I have a second interview coming. Shout out to you. New money, new money, new money, new money, new money. Let's get it. Let's get it. And my dog. Now, everybody knows that I love and I'm always going to acknowledge every single person that contributes into the platform. Every dollar, every 99 cents, every 20, every 10, every 5, every fit, whatever it is that you give, I never ask for it, but I always like to acknowledge the people that hold me down. He says, I am incredibly grateful with a $500 super chat. Our paths crossed. In 2024, I achieved the highest earnings of my career. This is one of my people. Listen to what we saying. This is why people show me love. He says, my channel also saw over a 119% growth in views, subscribers, and watch time. You've helped me realize my potential to teach and inspire others, including the bag chasers. Happy New Year to you and your family. Here's to an even bigger 2025. This is what we do inside of the Chasers. Let me give another round of applause to my people. Especially, this is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let's run it up. My dog, Acosta, listen, man, I love you. I appreciate you. Here's to bigger and better things going on in 2025. I was pushing you. Now it's time to run it up even more. That was just a tip of the iceberg, big dog. Much love to you and the family, says Latrell. I appreciate you. King Draco says, what's up, Anton? I've been walking with you since the Clubhouse days. Sent you an application for your job position. You still hiring? We are going through the applications and we are going to go ahead this upcoming week after the new year, and that's when we go make our decision. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. 25 gonna start with a bang, bang, baby, coming any day now. Dang! Hey, Jay Ben is gonna populate the earth, y'all. He gonna populate the earth. No excuse, lifestyle Rocky Cash says, what up, AD? I've been your subscriber since March of this past year, and you and a few other similar YouTubers has been my inspiration to run up a bag higher. Keep up the big work, big dog. Salute to you. I appreciate everybody that hold me down, but we got to go ahead and get started with the show. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If you decide that you want to join the Bag Chasers, if you decide that you want to join the Patreon, we have the biggest Patreon in Patreon, over 13,000 members, and it's a reason why they've been rocking with us. We do have a live stream on Patreon tomorrow. Join tomorrow morning at 12:01 a.m. is when you want to join. I don't want you to join the beginning of the year. I want you to join the beginning of the year, not the end of the year, because I don't want you to get billed twice unless you're doing the yearly thing, all right? Join tomorrow, wait till tomorrow, and we gonna run it up, all right? Let's get to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it again. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Let's get it. Full show in the building. Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think we need to dedicate an entire segment to, but we want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on in these streets. Family in Chicago shot twice, 2 brothers dead, and a teen is in a coma. Check it out.
Liz, we've had very little luck trying to get a hold of the local police department in Durango, Mexico. So there really isn't much that we can confirm regarding the circumstances surrounding this shooting, except what has already been publicly disclosed. What we can tell you is that there's a 14-year-old boy from Chicago who is fighting for his life down there after being shot in the head while visiting relatives 3 days ago. Taken during much happier times, this photo shows Chicagoan Vicente Peña Jr. on vacation with his teenage son. Today, Peña is dead, along with his brother Antonio Hernandez, while his son, who turned 14 yesterday, is fighting for his life in a Mexican hospital.
He would have been celebrating his birthday with his family in Mexico, but instead, he's in a critical state from a gun wound that was inflicted to his head.
According to Mexican authorities in the northern state of Durango, Hernandez, Peña, his son, and the 22-year-old relative, who was a local resident,
I never
were
been to
found
Durango.
Friday night next to their vehicle by the side of a highway with gunshot wounds to the head. Only the boy survived. Speaking via phone from Mexico, his grandmother said this in Spanish. His grandfather told me he was beaten up, so we think he tried to put up a fight with the bad guys. He was shot in the head. They performed surgery, but he is in a coma. Their priority now, she says, is getting back home to Chicago as quickly as possible. Local activist Julie Contreras is working with them to make that.
As bad as y'all want to make these cities out to be inside of the United States of America, and they are bad. I mean, South Side in Chicago, the Bronx, Oakland, it's a lot going on. But I will tell you that it is nowhere close to what it's like outside of the United States of America. Go down there to Durango in Mexico. Go on over there to Haiti and see how it play out. See how tough you are.
That happen.
His little brother, who just learned of the whole situation. So it's very heart-wrenching. And currently, this family is living a nightmare. And we just want to bring them home so they can be safe.
Now, according to authorities, the family was traveling in a black GMC Yukon with Illinois plates when this happened. But at this point, we've received no information to...
Wait. So y'all drove down there? So y'all drove from Chicago to Mexico and y'all was way deep inside of Mexico? Yeah, this sounds a little bit fishy personally. I'm not just going to take it on its surface. Don't want to see anybody losing their life, but definitely seem a little bit fishy. Crazy. Rio says you be making it seem like it's third world countries in these cities. It do be feeling like third world countries in some of these cities inside of the United States of America. Absolutely, it be feeling like third world countries. It's some people that ain't never really left their hood before outside of just going to school. Anyways, in addition to that, 2 women was found shot to death inside of a suburban home in Chicago with the children inside. Check it out.
We want to update you now that developing story in South Suburban Park Forest. Police there say 2 women were found dead inside a home. Officers called to that home at the 300 block of Miami Drive last night. Just today, we've learned the pair were a mother and daughter. NBC5's V. Wynn reports.
Investigators returning to this Park Forest neighborhood trying to track down witnesses one day after 2 women were found shot inside the suburban home. Neighbors left stunned by what happened.
This block is normally not no violence or any type of domestic or any type of craziness, so it was just a different scene.
This man who lives right across the street didn't want to be identified, fearing for his safety. Says he didn't hear the gunshots last night but saw the police activity.
I just seen them kind of like use the little battery thing to knock down the door, and they entered the home through the window and opened up, and I saw a woman come out on the ambulance.
According to Park Forest police, officers responded to a call of someone shot last night inside this home in the 300 block of Miami Street. Cell phone video shared with NBC5 shows the response. Officers made their way in and found 2 women shot. One of them died at the scene, the other pronounced at the hospital. Neighbors say they were mother and daughter.
I still can't believe, she gone and her daughter, and it's senseless because that shouldn't happen.
The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office identified the victims as 30-year-old Sabrina McCain and 51-year-old Lillian Brown. We learned 2 children were also found unharmed inside the home. This young girl, with permission from her mom, told us she would often play with the young boy, believed to be 8 or 9 years old.
I just feel bad for him.
It's unclear who made the 911 call. This neighbor says he saw the 51-year-old victim just yesterday morning.
She's normally a quiet lady, always tended to her yard.
While police continue to investigate the motive, neighbors are praying for the families of the victims and the young children caught in the middle of the violence.
Usually when this type of stuff happens, is somebody that most violence is perpetuated by people that you already know. So usually if you see something happening inside of a home, I mean, unless it's just something that's random, like somebody following you home from a store, or you know what I'm saying, somebody trying to set you up or something. 99% of the time it's from somebody that you know. So the first thing that you got to start looking for is who was the friends, who was the family, who was the boyfriend, who was the husbands, who was they cheating with, Who was out here? Who did they get in with last? Go and pull the reports of any police reports or domestic violence and all of this stuff. Most of the time, it is somebody that you know that is perpetuating the crime against you, which falls back into my original conversation of making sure that you stay away from these people that are dusty. When you are dusty, you attract dust, and then when more dust come on you, then that's when you see the violence happen against you. It's always somebody that you know that is watching you that'll do you dirty, and those are the ones that then wind up becoming your worst enemies. You know what I'm saying? And then last but not least, target shoppers is just check out the story. I mean, I'm tired of describing these people.
This remains a very active scene here. I'll show you live over my shoulder what I'm talking about. You can see the ongoing investigation just outside of that Target store. 2 security guards here were shot. The search now on for the suspect. And let me give you an exclusive look right now at the man the LAPD says that they are looking for. This is a photo from surveillance video here at the plaza. Investigators say he's believed to be around 25 years old. He ran from the scene, but police are hoping that the public will be able to help track him down thanks to that photo. Now,
how are these people so easily able to get away? How are people so easily able to get away? You know, when I pull up to a stoplight, and sometimes it just be like a spidey sense that's tingling in me and say, Anton, don't run that stoplight. Because you know me, I don't like to stop at stoplights too long. I'll be like, I get a little antsy. You know what? I'll just take the ticket if I get pulled over. Sometimes my spidey sense is tingling. I'll be like, you know what? I just think I'm about to get pulled over if I do. I go past the stoplight. Once it turns green, the light turns green, I'll start driving, and it'll be a police officer literally directly sitting on the side of the street waiting for somebody to run a stoplight. I can't blink without it being somebody that be like, Anton, oop, I knew you was doing something you wasn't supposed to do. These people be killing whole people. They be shooting inside of whole public spaces and malls that have surveillance, security guards, shoppers everywhere, and they just be getting away. And then they got to go and find them and hunt them down, and they be hanging out at their auntie house. I don't understand that junk. That is so weird to me, bro.
I'll just take a look at the frantic scene. Just moments after the gunfire erupted, paramedics rushing to treat the 2 injured security guards, taking them to the hospital. We're told at least one of them is in critical condition. All of this happened just before 9 here at 7th and Fig Plaza in downtown LA. It's unclear if the security guards were trying to stop the gunman or how the encounter unfolded. Witnesses, though, say it was an all-out gun battle.
We were actually in line just waiting to pay for our items when we heard the shootout take place outside. Extremely loud, extremely traumatic, and we all just started running towards the back. We were guided by one of the sales reps, or one of the cashiers, I should say.
They be having whole shootouts.
But extremely traumatic. We heard several rounds go off, and we just pretty much ran towards the back and just left our items in the cart and just tried to do the best that we could to get to safety. People were crying at the moment, screaming. Everyone was just, some people were running towards the aisles. Some people were hiding towards the clothes. Everyone just started running and scattering in different directions.
Again, the investigation.
Look at that. They got 2 women with their hairs in buns. 2 women with their hair in buns as the police officers over there in LA. I see why the criminals get away, because ain't nobody scared of y'all. Listen, the minute that I see a woman police officer come up to me, I'll be thinking to myself, Mrs. Officer, Mrs. Officer. Wee. Yeah, when I get up, I'll be thinking, the first thing I see when I see a female police officer is I start thinking about the Lil Wayne song, Bobby Valentino. Mrs. Officer. That's what I think about when I see a lady. I don't think of myself like, oh man, I'm in trouble. I be thinking to myself, wee. Yeah. When I get up, I think about that. I don't look at lady cops and be like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. I'll be thinking to myself, the Lil Wayne song just started playing in my head. Anyways, let's continue.
continuing. One of the guards, we are told, in critical condition. Authorities trying to figure out exactly how all of this unfolded. But more importantly, right now, they are trying to find that gunman. Here is another exclusive look at his photo. He is described as a white man with curly hair, as you can see, dressed in that dark sweatshirt, believed to be around 25 years old. Authorities certainly hoping that someone in the public will be able to identify him and will call the LAPD immediately. Back here at the scene, this is expected to be an active scene for quite some time as they continue their investigation.
Shout out, yeah, if y'all see him out in the streets, y'all go ahead and call the police and get him arrested. Shout out to my lady cops. Shout out to the lady cops in the streets. Hey, chat. What do y'all think when y'all see a female officer? What do y'all think when y'all see a lady officer? Doing a buck in the latest drop. I got stopped by a lady cop. She got me thinking I could date a cop. Cause the uniform fits so tight. She read me my right. She put me in the car. She cut off all the lights. She said, I have the right to remain silent. Now I got a hollering, sounding like a siren, talking about wee, 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 wee. When y'all think about lady cops, tell me now, that's gonna be in y'all heads now. That's gonna be in y'all heads now. So every time that you see a female cop, that is the thing that's going to come into y'all heads. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits, all right? Let me read some of these super chats. First of all, I want to say salute to Frank White on Cash App. Thank you, my friend. Says salute. 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 Don't y'all be coming to be cops and trying to steal all of the overtime in New York, getting $400,000 in salary. LL Music TV in the building says, AD, salute. I appreciate you giving great content. I see you're also making your presence known in the world of politics. Keep forward, keep striving. Best year ever. Rosita Attila in the building says, thank you, AD. I am retired and you have inspired positive changes in my life. Never too old to learn. Bring on 2025. Talk to him. Talk to him, baby. Dow's Hour in the building. Oh, I like that name. Good morning, love. I just want to say thank you for all of the wisdom and the jewels that you dropped. 2025 should all better ourselves in all things, mind, body, and spirit. Better our situations and the lives of those around us. We'll be joining the Bag Chasers. Shout out to Dow's Hour. We need more ladies. More ladies. My Mercedes. Can't wait to see y'all at the meetups this year. Good morning, AD and everyone. They get mad when you see when you can see the crash dummy inside them. Hashtag Goose Goose Academy. Shout out to A-Man01. Mr. Joe, my dog, says Mississippi Valley State University HBCU band is getting criticized by the community for accepting an invite to perform at Trump's inauguration. Yeah, I seen that. I plan on covering that in after hours tonight, so we're going to have that conversation. Thank you to everybody that holds us down and everybody that contributes into the platform. You guys are the greatest audience on earth. Let's continue with the show. All right, so let's get to the lowest hanging fruit right now. Let's talk about the U.S. Treasury being hacked by Chinese hackers, breach of security, and they're saying that, well, check out the story.
The Treasury Department says that its computers were hacked by a Chinese threat actor in what the department is calling a major incident. Joining us right now with more on this and with cybersecurity risks in the new year is Teresa Payton. She is Fortalice Solutions CEO. And Teresa, thank you for being with us today. We've got a lot to talk about, but let's start with this latest news about the hack at the Treasury Department. Saying this is a major issue, but then saying that there's no threat that they are still in. They don't think that the hackers are still having access.
How does the Treasury Department get hacked?
You know this better than just about anybody. What should we read through this? Because I feel like there's a lot we're not getting from the headlines on this story.
Well, I read the letter that they wrote to report to OMB what had happened, and there will be another letter coming in about 30 days. These investigations take time. The one thing that gives me some optimism about this, that it has been contained, is they mentioned that the affected service, which was a third-party service which gave basically, if you think about it, almost like a master key to a support person, a trusted person. It basically gave that authenticated master key to these bad actors who have been traced back to China. China has denied it. But the thing they've said is they've actually identified the service, taken it offline, and they're doing the proper remediation steps. So hopefully what that means is the threat actor no longer has persistence, but we do know from the letter that they produced to OMB that documents were accessed. What we don't know is what documents, but they did say it was unclassified.
Unclassified documents accessed by Chinese hackers, and they're no longer a threat. How does Chinese hackers get into the U.S. Treasury Department? That just sounds insane to me. And a lot of people always ask me, Anton, what should I go into? Should I go into cybersecurity or should I get a basket weaving degree? With the level of technology and all of the implementation of security threats and infrastructure and AI technology and cloud, there has never been a better time to have that level of security and to know that you will always have a job once you get the level of experience that you're supposed to have. You will always have a job. And not only will you have a job, they are paying a premium for people that know what they're talking about. We're going to get into these H-1B visas shortly. But this is the thing that I'm saying. If they can find the necessary talent and that you actually go through the process, you will forever have a job. They freaking hacking the U.S. Treasury. They're hacking the U.S. Treasury. Talking about unclassified documents. Do you think that I believe that? Do you think that I believe that they will tell me that they got into classified documents and Chinese hackers have some of the information from the U.S. Treasury? You don't think that I would? You think that I believe everything that they telling us and that they releasing to the general public? Yeah, okay.
Right. That's the part that I don't get. These are documents that we shouldn't necessarily care about because they're not classified documents, or this is also a very serious issue if you have a Chinese actor that's gotten access into the Treasury Department.
I think it's very serious because, as we used to say when I worked at the White House for President George W. Bush, small pieces of unclassified information put together a piece of the puzzle that could lead to classified information. And so anything that you steal gives you a sort of, even if it's just an interdepartment memo about new HR policies, that gives sort of patterns of life and inner workings of the operations. It gives names.
You said you want them to hack into Sally Mae,
Vanessa? Sort of the tone and the type of vocabulary that's used, which then could be used in subsequent social engineering attacks that are much more sophisticated, targeted, and really bespoke and custom because you've got sort of this knowledge of the inner workings.
You say
I think that is much more severe than they letting on. I think that they got classified information, unclassified information. To be honest with you, I don't even know what the difference is between classified and unclassified because it's not released to the general public, so it's not like it's available to us. All of it is classified. That's just a fancy way of saying that we don't want you to know the secrets and the inner workings of things that you're not supposed to be a part of and we're not supposed to be a part of. But we can't tell you that because then you'll panic and then you'll become more informed and you'll make adjustments, so on and so forth. That's all the differences between classified and unclassified. If you get your hands on it, you're going to start to become more aware and you're going to start moving a little bit differently. That's what it means.
A Chinese state-sponsored actor hacking the U.S. Treasury Department in what's being called a major cybersecurity breach. The hackers remotely accessing several user workstations and gained access to unclassified documents after compromising a third-party software service provider. That provider, Beyond Trust, informed the department about the hack on December 8th. A Treasury Department spokesperson says the compromised service has now been taken offline. Right now, there's no
Y'all talking about hacking Sally Mae. Forget Sally Mae. Need to go get the IRS. That's what they need to go and get. Forget Sally Mae. Y'all got the wrong. Listen, y'all got to think bigger. Now, I'm not saying that anybody should be hacking anything. Let me be very, very clear. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get to that corporate bag going into 2025. However, what I am saying is, if you're going to target something, you need to target something a little. Don't go forget student loans. That's small time. We need to get to them 3-letter organizations. Forget Sally Mae. We don't care nothing about Sally Mae. Freddie Mac and Sally Mae. Don't get to, you know what I'm saying? I can't say the letters as free because I don't want no targets on my back. But all I'm saying is, listen, if you're going to go for something, if you're trying to help the Americans, forget spreading wealth. No. Your money's insured. Go to stress. You know what I'm saying? It's not stress. Got to read between the lines.
China still has access to the systems. The FBI and the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency are also now investigating. I want to bring in Fox News contributor, Heritage Foundation Senior Fellow for China Strategy, and author of The 100-Year Marathon, Michael Pillsbury. Michael, I guess I'm becoming a big cynic when it comes to government systems and cybersecurity, but I was not in the least bit surprised that Treasury got hacked yesterday.
Cheryl, you're not alone. I think a lot of us are becoming cynics that the Chinese seem to have access to almost any American secrets they want to get. It obviously is good for them to focus on Treasury Department. Treasury is where the sanctions are. Treasury is where the currency manipulation issue is discussed. So in a way, I'm surprised that they didn't hack Treasury even earlier.
Well, Samantha Dravis has a question along those lines for you. She's on set with me. Samantha, go ahead.
Yeah, Michael, I wanted to ask you, clearly it seems we don't have what we need to deter these threats. They're very concerning. And I would like to know, what are your thoughts on CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency? There's been a lot of criticism that this is an agency in need of dire reform. There were reports that the agency was weaponized to go after disinformation on social media, and it was really weaponized into an agency that strayed from its true purpose. And so I actually took the time to go to their website and their Twitter. I don't see them posting anything about this. What is their response, and do you have concerns that this agency needs reform?
Yes, you've identified a really important problem, that different parts of our government are alert to the China threat to different degrees. And it's ironic that sometimes the people in charge of a really specific issue seem to be asleep at the switch. The Pentagon seems to be quite active. They put out reports, they conduct exercises, they're building a new generation of weapon systems. So the Pentagon doesn't need guidance on the China
Thank you,
threat.
Stephen Clay.
Someone else who doesn't need guidance is Donald Trump himself. I'm an eyewitness that he went through real friction with most of his government in the first term on trying to get the China trade talks going and get a meaningful deal. A lot of the government just would not help Mr. Trump, and he had to conduct meetings and pretty much micromanage things himself. So I hope the lessons learned for the next term, all these mistakes that happened in the first term that President Trump had to correct. He had to fire some people too, as is well known. And if you're doing research on this, you might enjoy 4 or 5 of the memoirs that have come out. Jared Kushner's memoir, Peter Navarro's, Bob Lighthizer. They go into the friction and how much trouble there was among different units. And finally, President Trump just had to step in again and again and make things happen. I hope that's what's going to happen in the next term.
Well,
I don't understand why everything seems to be happening towards the end of the year, right before Trump takes office. That's the thing that I'm confused about. I don't understand that. It seems like everything is falling apart. All of the worst decisions is being made all in the same month, all within the same 2 months. And it's like, is it me, or does it seem like this transition period from the election in November all the way up to January 20th, that this seems like the longest period in history? It seems like Trump won the election eons ago, like he's already been president for a long time, and that we just waiting for him to actually take the White House. It seems like this is the biggest gap since, because I don't remember in the past of it taking as long, or it seeming like this long of a transition between the time that a president won the seat and the time that they actually take office. It just seemed like this is the biggest gap in the world. Like he can't get in there fast enough. Y'all think it's sabotage? I wouldn't put it past it. I wouldn't put it past it at all. I wouldn't put it past that it is absolute. I think that Trump is being sabotaged all across the board. I think that this current administration has literally been throwing Trump under the bus. I was reading about how he was trying to put protections in place from people to still be able to work from home. Why would you do that? Name me an organization where a CEO is transitioning and he's leaving his post because the board has voted him out, or the board decided that they wanted to get rid of him, and he's going through a transition period where another CEO is coming in, and he decided to sabotage the company on his way out the door. I've never heard that in my entire life. The federal government in politics is the only place where you can get away with that nonsense. The federal government in politics is the only place where you can get away with that nonsense. And then they want to talk about a peaceful transition of power. This ain't peaceful. Ain't nothing been peaceful over the last 2.5 months of this election. Ain't nothing been peaceful this whole time that they've been in office, let alone the last 2 months. It almost seems like they're setting it up to where the next 2 years he'll be undoing and fixing all of the problems that we see from the Biden administration, and ditto from Kamala Harris, because we don't even know who she is. We don't know who she is, where she been at, how she faring. I heard that she over there in Hawaii. I could be absolutely wrong. All we keep seeing is different reports that's coming out. And it's funny because all of these people, they were so visible during the election season, but they're completely ghosts. Completely ghosts. After November 4th, we seen her pop out a couple times. We want to give a speech over to donors and say, hey, man, stay on board. We want you to still be a part of the Democratic Party. Thank you for supporting us. And another one, a drunk live stream that she did to thank her supporters. Other than that, you don't see nothing. Other than that, you don't see anything. These last 2 months has just been chaos. Wars, hacks, new laws, 50 new laws signed in the space, unions being protected, work from home, all of this stuff. Man, you see what's happening. Get on up out of there. Get on up out of there. Anyways, that's what's going on, Chinese hackers. I want to get to the real thick of things. Before I do that, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats and acknowledge the people. Clay Display LLC says, what up, Anton? Happy New Year, and thank you. You changed my life and my perspective. Let me give you a round of applause for that. LT144K says, AD, I'm a bag chaser learning so much from you. However, I've earned over $200,000 on my job, but taxes hit me hard. That if my gross bi-weekly pay is $10K, I only bring home about $5,200. Would you consider doing a tax club? Now you've run into some of the problems that rich people and people that are high earners are experiencing. And so it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. When I say I only spend 5% of what I generate on my own lifestyle, and that the other 90 to 95% is being put back into the businesses, and that we invest in real estate, not necessarily to generate revenue, that's the long-term play, but to preserve wealth. Now you see what I'm talking about. Because see, it's hard to explain it to people when they're not in a space to take advantage of it. It's hard to explain it to people when they're not in a space to take advantage of it. And when you make it over $200,000 per year, you start to think of, wait a minute, preservation of wealth. How can I keep more of it inside of my pocket? That's when you have to start spending money. It sounds crazy, right? It sounds like the opposite. Oh man, I'm making more money, I need to save more money. No. When you make more money, you have to keep more money. When you making more money, you have to keep it. And the only way that you can keep it is by spending it. Oh, y'all don't want to have this. Y'all don't want to have these conversations in the culture. It's too much positivity. When you make money, you have to spend money. When you spend money, the government incentivizes you. I'm not going to get into this right now because it's not a part of the show. The government incentivizes you to, y'all want tax club too? I'll think about it. I'll wrestle with it tonight. The government incentivizes people that generate a lot of revenue to keep more of their money. The reason why we don't care about cash, the reason why it's the dumbest thing, when I see people that don't have resources say, but you're not a cash millionaire. Well, of course I'm not a cash millionaire. Why would I ever be a cash millionaire? Do you see that Elon Musk is carrying around a bunch of cash? Do you see Mark Zuckerberg carrying around a bunch of cash? Do you see any of these people carrying around a bunch of, no. Because the preservation of wealth is to spend money or to keep it in equity, which is one of the reasons why we're debating during the campaign season about unrealized tax gains. Unrealized meaning that we don't see the revenue from it because we still have it in equity. We still have it in our ownership, and whatever it is that they paying in ownership from us participating in the success of corporate America. We still keep it back in our businesses. Anton, why did you spend so much money? Why did you spend 6 figures towards the end of the year to finish your project and redoing your offices. A, it's going to generate more revenue. B, it's going to help me to put out a better product. C, it makes the company more valuable. And D, it lowers the amount of money that I legally have to pay to the IRS. Why? Because I'm reinvesting back into my companies. Why don't you keep any of the rent payments? Why do you reinvest it back into your companies? Well, because I'm incentivized to do though, and it increases the value of my net worth. It increases the value of my properties. It continues to incentivize more revenue, more growth, and then I basically am compounding. You're reverse compounding to generate more revenue. That's how people become millionaires. That's how people become billionaires. It's not that you can work your way to wealth. It's not that you can get your way to wealth by you know what I'm saying? By generating so much cash and revenue, you have to allow for your money to work for you, but that would cause you to have a shift in mindset. The only cars that we buy are the ones that we can write off. They say that, oh man, you just need to buy your cars cash. No, we buy some cash because we let those sit and appreciate because those are our toys. That's from the money that we generate. And in other cars, for example, we rent and we lease. It's just like renting. We lease them because they are for our businesses, right? For example, the Cybertruck, that's literally that's in my property development company's name. And we use it for property development. That's the only thing we use it for, is to go out to sites, to bring supplies, to meet with contractors, so on and so forth. The Cybertruck is 100% a write-off. I have to get rid of the money. Well, why wouldn't I get rid of the money by building more or putting it back into my businesses? The Cybertruck is a write-off. It is leased under my property development company. The entire payment for it, the entire thing, the insurance, any cost that's associated with maintenance, charging, the payment itself, 100% tax write-off. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm not going to dive into it because that might be a part of Tax Club. Are y'all not a part of the Bag Chasers? Are y'all not a part of the Bag Chasers? If y'all not a part of the Bag Chasers, you need to tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We're not going to sit here and have this conversation. We're not going to have it right now because y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to keep talking about how y'all tricking off, flying people out and all of that. Nah, that's not what we doing. We preserving wealth. We're increasing our net worth, and we're generally going to make sure that we get to the bag. Anton, it's not all about money. Okay, give all of yours to the IRS then. Give all of yours to the IRS then. It's not about money. Okay, give yours to the IRS. Anyways, let me continue to read these super chats. That's a good idea. I'm going to think about that, LT. Shout out to you. If you're a federal employee, none of your TSP contributions should be going into the fund. Interesting. April Williams says, just got my first role in cybersecurity as a security analyst. Worked as an IT specialist in a little under 2 years and network within the company. Shout out to April Williams. Look at these women getting so bad. I love y'all. Got promoted to deputy assessor, bag chaser. Shout out to Thomas G. Molly says cybersecurity might be the move. Like you keep saying, Anton, I wonder if it could be blended with accounting. Why can't it? Why can't it? Talk to me. Talk to me. Victor Williams says same thing happened with OPM where China stole credentials from a third-party source and was able to access OPM's network and created a backdoor because of what? Poor security practices. K Products, excuse me. K Products says, what do I need to get into cybersecurity? You need to go back to school. Go back to school. Marty Slice says, thank you for the accountability in the game. All love. Shout out to Marty Slice. I appreciate you. Sasi says, AD, this will be my first New Year's home in 13 years since I've been home. I moved with purpose. This year is absolutely a great year for me. This is my first New Year's back home in a long time, too. Usually we'll be in Miami. We did one of the Miami meetups. I thought about going to Hawaii this year. Maybe next year. We'll wait till they rebuild Maui. Business expenses are above the line adjusted gross income or AGI. We're not getting into that. We're going to talk about it in Tax Club. Deductions, and what Ton is referencing, deductions are worth more than credits. They are. Thank you, Anton. LT, I got you, big dog. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get to it. All right, y'all. Mike Johnson. We want to go into Mike Johnson, and then we want to go into the H-1B visa situation because Trump is finally speaking out about it. He's been quiet for long enough. Trump ain't even been in the office, and y'all already trying to get him to run up and be the president of the United States of America. Trump has recently endorsed Mike Johnson to continue to be the House Speaker. Check it out.
Just after the ball drops, all eyes will turn to the Capitol for Friday's House Speaker vote. President-elect Trump says he's putting his full support behind Mike Johnson, but the Speaker faces a tough battle for re-election, with more Republican lawmakers coming out against him, potentially setting the stage to stall this new Congress before they even get started. News Nation's Tom Dempsey has more from Washington. Tom, even with the president-elect's endorsement, how close are we thinking this vote might be?
Hey, good morning from the Capitol, Marky. Look, this House Speaker vote happening at Friday at noon still appears to be razor thin at the moment. And to put it in perspective, Congressman Mike Johnson needs almost every single Republican member to vote for him, assuming all Democrats vote against him.
And one of the reasons why I knew it was going to be difficult for Mike Johnson and why he needed this endorsement from Trump, because Mike Johnson has always been a supporter of Trump, and I think that it was right for Trump to endorse him for House Speaker. And I think that he will win. But with this last spending bill, and you know, people can't wait to try to figure out something to get mad at. With this last spending bill, what was his name? Mike Jeffries? What's the Jeffrey? What's the fake Obama's name? Who was the fake Obama? What was his name again? Not Mike Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, I think that's what his name. Hakeem Jeffries. Remember when Hakeem Jeffries warned Mike Johnson and he said, listen, man, since we can't get all of our bloat, since we can't get the raises that we wanted, a $70,000 increase in our salaries, since we can't get these new pickleball stadiums inside of D.C., guess what? We are not going to help you. We are not going to help you. We're not going to give you one Democratic vote to become House Speaker again. And this is why I still think American politics are so trash and still divided, because even though we have these legislative branches that is supposed to be protecting the United States of America and its citizens against itself, which is one of the reasons why you could just throw away the whole idea of Trump being a king in the United States of America, we can't really get anything done because people have a bias. They have an agenda. They're so focused on, I'm going to get you back, instead of working for the best interests of the American people. If there are Democrats that actually think that Mike Johnson is the best role for House Speaker, then they should help him. But we know that he's not going to get one vote from Democrats, so they're being 100% dependent on Republicans for every single vote in order for Mike Johnson to stay House Speaker. And if Trump endorses him, then I think that everybody needs to get on board. But we'll see how that plays out.
One lawmaker spoke right here on News Nation, describing himself as not yet a yes during this vote, but he says the vote on Friday does bring an important discussion within the Republican Party. Take a listen.
I don't think it's very realistic that somebody else is going to be able to come in and grab the reins. That's why I say most likely he will be the next speaker. But that doesn't mean there can't be conversations. This is where you have your leverage. This is the one time that you have before you elect a speaker to get assurances and a plan, something that makes sense to us.
True Star, because you know I like to look at the chat as my co-host for the show. True Star, why do you say get rid of Johnson? Why do you say get rid of Mike Johnson? What is it that you think another speaker, and who do you think? Well, first of all, I don't like it when people say get rid of somebody, because I would like, if you ever gonna say something like that, then you need to say this is who we need to replace this person with. I'll give you an example. So let's take Tiffany Henyard, or you can even take what's happening as far as the mayor of Chicago, right? Let's say the mayor of Chicago, they said, get rid of Lori Lightfoot. And they replaced her with Mayor Mohawk. So when you say get rid of somebody, you're not really proposing a solution. All you're saying is, I don't like that person. If you have a better solution, then tell me who it is that you want to replace the person with. If you say, well, get rid of Tiffany Henyard, the reason why that's so problematic, and I've been preaching this on the rooftop, and y'all gonna learn, you gonna learn one way or another, you need to say, replace this person with this. And this is the mentality of a person that is abundance-minded. We don't think in the same ways that people that are emotionally motivated think. We think solutions-oriented. I don't say get rid of this person. I say this person is better suited for the job because this person seems to be incompetent. So I don't look at it and say, get rid of Mike Johnson, because I don't think that there's anybody that would be better suited to push the agenda that we want as voters as far as what Donald Trump is trying to solve for in the federal government. We need somebody that is on the same team as Trump that can drum up the votes to get a lot of these spending bills and this legislation passed over the next 2 years before the midterm elections.
Now, to hold on to being Speaker, like I said, Johnson can only afford to lose one fellow Republican, assuming all Democrats vote against him and all House members cast a vote. Already, Congressman Tom Massey from Kentucky has come out against Johnson, posting to X earlier this week, quote, "We've seen Johnson partner with the Democrats to send money to Ukraine, authorize spying on Americans, and blow the budget." That brings us to other possible no votes, including Freedom Caucus Chair Andy Harris, who has described himself as being undecided, as well as former caucus chair Scott Perry and Congressman
Happy New Year to
Andy
everybody
Biggs.
that's just jumping into the stream.
Congresswoman Victoria Spartz has also raised concerns about Speaker Johnson, saying he needs to lay out a plan to carry out President-elect Trump's agenda. On Monday, she released a list of requirements to earn her vote, including calling for spending audits. But like you said, Markey, Johnson picked up what could be the deciding endorsement on Monday from President-elect Donald Trump, who posted to Truth Social, quote, "The American people need immediate relief from all the destructive policies of the last administration. Speaker Mike Johnson is a good, hardworking, religious man. He will do the right thing, and we will continue to win." Johnson has also received support from billionaire Elon Musk. And we will note, too, that the House cannot conduct any sort of business until a House Speaker is elected. So, again, lots of people are going to be watching that vote on Friday at noon. Markey, the Republican Party, very much hoping to avoid similar drama to what we saw with former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Fun reminder, that was 15 ballots of voting over 4 days.
Yeah, nobody can forget that. We were all on the edge of our seat for 4 days in a row. So, Tom, if Johnson isn't the Republicans' pick for Speaker, who could be?
Well, let's be clear. Again, House Speaker Mike Johnson looking very much like the favorite right now, but there's just so many uncertainties with this vote. Like, we're seeing some criticism of how he's handled the job. So that's leading to this uncertainty with the vote. But it's important to note, too, that no one else has really expressed interest in being the next House Speaker besides Johnson. But that, to answer your question, who else might we see potentially emerge as a candidate? And if it's not.
No, I don't want Rep. Jim Jordan, Republican in Ohio. I don't want Steve Scalise. And I do not want Tom Emmer. I don't. And that's the thing that I was just telling y'all when I said, listen, it's not about whether or not you like him or not. It's whether or not he pushes forward with the thing that American voters want. Man, nobody else has even expressed interest in the job. I think that a lot of people, and I love Byron Donalds. I absolutely love Byron Donalds. But a lot of people say a name inside of the chat because that's the person that they're most familiar with, because they've made themselves known. But the thing that you have to ask yourself, and I'm not saying that Byron Donalds can't do this, is can whoever the potential person is that will replace Mike Johnson actually do two things? Do they push forward the agenda that we want as far as what Trump is trying to do? And can they drum up votes and support outside of the Republican Party? Let me say it again. Can they push the agenda that we want as voters of what we want to happen inside of the United States of America, while at the same time maintaining relationships and drumming up support amongst people that's not even a part of the Republican Party, because that is how you get things done. The goal is to get things done. It's not about whether or not we like somebody or name recognition. It's about whether or not the person can drum up the support to get past the things that we want done inside of the White House, inside of our Congress, inside of our Senate, so on and so forth. And so that is the thing that we need to pay attention to. We got to put our business hats on. We have to be mindful. And if Trump is endorsing this person, then that means that they have a great working relationship, despite what the Democrats want, because you have to have the support from the Congress members and your legislature to get things done inside of the United States of America. That is the job. That is what the job is. And I think that Mike Johnson is perfectly suited for it. He catches a lot of criticism because you have a lot of extremists on both sides of the aisle.
Johnson, you can see some of them right here. Congressman Jim Jordan remains a popular lawmaker inside the Republican Party and even launched a brief bid, but failed bid to be Speaker after the Kevin McCarthy drama. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise may also be mentioned as an alternate, as well as House Majority Whip Tom Eber. But again, as of now, Johnson remains the favorite. But we're going to be closely watching any sort of developments leading up to this vote Friday at noon.
So I'm going to stay on top of it. Again, Trump has endorsed current Speaker Mike Johnson. Hakeem Jeffries already warned us of this, so we knew that it was coming. And he said that the Democrats won't support Mike Johnson because they didn't get what they wanted in his last spending bill, in his temporary spending bill, to keep the government open before they went on vacation for the holidays. And we'll see what happens. So that's supposed to take place over this weekend or late Friday afternoon. I will be on top of it. We'll probably be discussing it on Monday, that upcoming Monday, that following Monday. I'll be in Vegas, and then we'll have that conversation. All right? Let's continue on with the show. Let me read some of these super chats. First of all, I want to acknowledge S. Duan. Shout out to you. Said you sending me a drink on Cash App. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's see. Aaron L. says, if you went into tech jobs, learn old coding languages, financial institutions still use COBOL, Fortran, etc. They need folks to maintain that code. Nah, Aaron, I don't know about that. I think that you need to be learning the new coding languages. And then more importantly, you need to have AI assist you. Artificial intelligence is the most important thing that people need to be working with, because artificial intelligence, contrary to popular belief, is not there to replace people. It's there to assist you to be more efficient in what you're doing. I don't know about that, Aaron. We would have to have a debate about that. Eric Wealth Harris says, Tax Club, please, so we can learn how to file for stocks, profits, and losses. Fit Billionaire is in the building, says, hey, Anton, what are your thoughts on a possible Bow Wow interview? Look forward to seeing. I'm gonna do a lot of different interviews this upcoming year now that we got the new space set up. So look forward to that. I don't want to reveal any names. I'm gonna just let y'all see it when it comes. This year, my plan is to not announce anything, but just to drop it, and then we gonna talk about it afterwards. That's my new approach to life. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna drop no hints. I'm not gonna go back and forth. We just gonna do it. We gonna do it. We gonna drop it. We gonna get it done, and then we gonna talk about how I got there afterwards. Only thing I care about is results, and then having that conversation afterwards about how it is that we was able to accomplish it. I don't care nothing about preemptive stuff. I'm not gonna warn people, hey man, I got this coming up. Oh, hey, y'all can look forward to this. Nope, you just gonna see it. You're just going to see it. Everything that I do is going to be results based. Shout out to Jerry, says Tax Club hasn't started yet, and I'm excited. See? Everybody agreed with me with the Chinese hackers and wouldn't they should have get on us. I ain't going to get there. Last speaker replacement went 15 rounds. This was a larger Republican majority. If you want to replace him, be ready to step up yourself. Shout out to David Simpson. K Studio says, Anton, we are still coming to D.C. in January? Of course I'm going to be in D.C. You know what I'm saying? Jerome Gray says, here comes a three-base game. Man, no Republican would ever vote for a Democrat, either Republican, would ever vote for a Democrat either. That's not necessarily true. No sane person wants to wrangle cats. There is a reason no high-profile House member steps into the front of the congregation. Hashtag thankless job. I agree with that also. Shout out to my dog, David Simpson, in the building. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. I will be reading super chats and cash apps throughout the show. I don't ask for it, but I always like to acknowledge the people that contribute into the platform. Also, on top of that, make sure you guys get that Tiege, 40% off your first order plus 20% off life. And then last but not least, if you are not a part of the Bag Chasers, we will be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'll put it on your calendar tonight at 12:01, New Year's. Your New Year's Eve gift to yourself. Your New Year's gift to yourself is to join the Bag Chasers. All right? All right, y'all. Shout out to Coach Shish. Coach Shish says, Uncle Anton, top of the morning. Top of the morning to you, my friend. I appreciate you for holding me down. All right, y'all. Let's continue on with this show. I want to get into this H-1B visa conversation. Now, Trump has finally weighed in amid MAGA backlash, which I don't think that there is much MAGA backlash. I think that there are a few stragglers that are trying to make waves, that are being incentivized from the left to do so, but I think that it's being promoted by the CNNs and MSNBCs as MAGA backlash. How did all of a sudden everybody become a part of MAGA? Ain't nobody want to wear the hat. Ain't nobody want to vote. Ain't nobody want to vote Republican. They were saying that MAGA is a cult. Don Lemon, we gonna watch him crash out today. We gonna get to that. How did all of a sudden everybody just so happen to become a part of the MAGA crew? So now if you're a Republican, you're MAGA. No, that's not how this works. This is being incentivized by the people that got bad attitudes about what happened during the past election. And so they're trying to sow discourse amongst us. But in reality, this is how you solve for problems. You learn more about it. You have disagreements. You have discussions. And then you start to have a conversation. But let's get to it. So Trump finally supported Elon Musk and what he said about H-1B visas and getting the top talent. Let's continue.
The holiday feud between factions of Trump's MAGA base over H-1B visas came to a head over the weekend, with the president-elect coming out in support of the program that allows the brightest foreign workers, many of them engineers and computer scientists, to live and work in the U.S. The broader debate reveals a significant rift in Trump's MAGA base just weeks before he is set to take office. CNN's Brian Todd has more.
The president-elect finally weighs in on a controversial issue that pits two of his top advisors against his MAGA base. Donald Trump now defends the H-1B visa program, which allows thousands of highly skilled foreign workers to immigrate to the U.S. every year to fill specialized jobs. Trump told the New York Post, quote, "I've always liked the visas. I have always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them. I've been a believer in H-1B. I have used it many times. It's a great program."
It's one of the first signs of disunity or disharmony in the folks who support Trump and who are going to make up his administration. And this is
one of the, think about what he's saying. And they just saying stuff. It's one of the first signs of disunity and disharmony. From the very beginning, way back in 2015, 2016, it's one of the very things that's the foundation of what the Republican Party is today and why we're winning. I'll give you an example. They tried to criticize Trump for picking J.D. Vance to be the vice president of the United States of America. Why? Because J.D. Vance at the time disagreed with what Trump was standing for and what he was saying as far as his sentiment, thinking that Trump was actually going to be a transformer of what we stand for here in the United States of America and drain the swamp and do the things that the American people wanted to do. Guess what? Trump won him over, and J.D. Vance thinks differently. He understood the vision. He then got on board, and this is one of the reasons why he's a part of the Trump administration today. It's not about always agreeing with each other. It's about having the conversations that then generate the best possible outcome. And as far back as I can remember, there has always been people in the Republican Party that disagreed with other people that were in the Republican Party, especially if you labeled yourself as a Make America Great Again supporter. And so how is this the first sign when the entire time over the last 8 years, there has always been people that disagreed, agreed, and then picked their spots about the things that they agree with and the things that they disagree with within the Republican Party. But now it's a fraction within the MAGA Party. That is false. It's absolutely false. It's not true.
likely to be an ongoing point of tension.
Trump is now siding with billionaires Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who Trump has tapped to lead the new Department of Government Efficiency. Musk and Ramaswamy have defended the H-1B program, Musk posting recently that it's the reason he's in America and, quote, "take a big step back and blank yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend."
Think about this for a second. What if Elon Musk was actually not a supporter, or he was one of the he wasn't able to be on our side? What if Iron Man was actually on the side of one of these other countries? What if Iron Man was over in Europe instead of here in the United States of America? What if Iron Man had created all of these great companies and he took his mindset over to Canada? What if he had never got into the United States of America and become a heavy supporter and, more importantly, one of the biggest taxpayers in history? On record, they said Elon Musk has paid more taxes than anybody in the history of the United States of America. Think about that for a second. What if Iron Man was over in Mexico? You want the best and the brightest, and this is just my personal opinion. You want the best and the brightest everywhere. You want the best and the brightest from everywhere. I want the best people working for me, and this is one of the reasons I don't agree with identity politics. I want the best people from everywhere because the goal is to win. I mean, if that's what we're going to do, we might as well just eliminate people from being able to come over here and participate in anything that's not a part of the United States of America. And more importantly, we should ban people from being able to participate in other countries because we need to make sure that we keep all of our monies and all of our talent here in the United States of America. Cut out the passport bros. Nope. You got to marry a black woman here in the United States of America. How would you feel about that? Ooh. Ooh, no. We need to keep all of the talent here because it's not just about whether or not we're recruiting talent, it's whether or not we're exporting talent. And so I vote that we make sure that you can't have any person that's a part of the military or any of the armed forces going over there and getting boxed or participating and doing things with people that's outside of the United States of America. Cancel the passport bros. We need all money staying here. All money in, no money out. Dr. Umar Johnson would love that. Dr. Umar Johnson would love that. You got to keep all of your resources here in the United States of America, and you cannot go out and give any money to other countries at all. No money, no in, no out. We are now Korea. We are now North Korea. No, Royal Heart, give up that passport. We are now North Korea. I vote that we keep it the same across the board. No Luka Doncic, no none of that. Right? No Dirk Nowitzki. We never had him. We can't have anybody from outside of the United States of America playing basketball inside of the NBA and then going back to their home country. No. Nobody. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. No Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, none of that. No Victor Wembanyama. No, none of that. All of them got to go play basketball in their own countries. You cannot do no recruiting for people to be able to take American jobs. They taking American jobs in the United States. Wait. How are we going to pick and choose? How are we going to pick and choose what American jobs make sense and what American jobs don't make sense? The goal is for the United States of America to win. The thing that Trump has always been against, and that is the sentiment of everybody, and I've been saying this and screaming it from the rooftops, we cannot have illegal, keyword, illegal immigration into this country because we are not vetting these people. That is why people are getting burned up on the subways. That is why people are getting burned up on the subways. Y'all can have, well, listen, it'd probably be the best thing that Joel Embiid just stayed over there, but that's just a whole nother conversation. That's why people are getting burned up on the sub. No illegal immigration into this country. But this is what happens when you start having people operate on extremes. The H-1B visa program has always been here inside of the United States of America. Now, all of a sudden, it's becoming a problem, and this is why you have to be careful who you align with. Let's continue.
But Musk and Ramaswamy's stance is being slammed by Trump's MAGA supporters, like his former White House strategist Steve Bannon, who said on his podcast that H-1B takes jobs from American citizens.
The program from top to bottom is a scam.
Look at this
and a
crazy
con.
man.
There is nothing in this program that should continue to exist. Nothing. These are coders that are going to work for a third of the salaries and work like indentured servants. That's not American citizens.
That's not
Trump's
true.
comment that he's, quote,
not true.
always been in favor of the H-1B visas isn't true. He previously opposed those visas and restricted access to them several times during his first administration in an effort to curb legal immigration. But in the 2024 presidential campaign, Trump had changed his tune on skilled workers coming to the U.S.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country.
Musk, who was born in South Africa, came to the U.S. as a foreign student, later worked in the U.S. on an H-1B visa. And it's his companies and those of other tech giants who've recently courted Donald Trump which stand to benefit from more H-1B workers in the U.S.
He's literally created an automaker that pays an egregious amount of taxes and hires American workers inside of the United States of America. The first U.S.-based automaker that has been able to rival any other automaker outside of the United States of America. And you guys would stop that. You would have wanted to stop that, and you would prevent yourselves from being able to take care of and embrace American jobs and American innovation. Then you would shoot that in the foot because you're emotional. Okay.
At least at this early stage, some of the tech leaders, including Musk, who bet on a Trump administration to deliver policies that would be favorable to their industry and to their businesses, may be seeing some return from them.
All right, well, my panel is back to discuss all this further. Stephen, I want to start with you because you had a big picture piece for CNN.com on this, where you write, in the coming weeks, Trump's ability to reconcile the differing interests among conservative budget hawks, hardline MAGA lawmakers, and comparative moderates who may be vulnerable in the 2026 general election will dictate the fate of his aggressive legislative plans on immigration, budget trimming, and tax cuts. So this is a test.
Right. I think this issue does show the fissures in the new Trump coalition. It's very interesting this time around. It's not just the MAGA grassroots working class base. You've got this new tech Silicon Valley aspect to it. That said, you know, all presidents have to manage their coalitions. This is nothing new. I think the question is, going forward, will Trump side on more issues with Elon Musk and people, the millionaires and the billionaires in his cabinet, who've got strong self-interests as they go into the government for their own businesses? Or will he step back and be worried about alienating some of his most loyal supporters? In his first term, we didn't see many occasions when he was willing to get out in front of that core support.
Anastasio Rodriguez throws in a crazy thing. And says, yeah, we will see how this will affect us in 15 years. Man, don't you know the H-1B visa program has been in effect for well over 15 years? Don't you know that we've always recruited the best and the brightest to go to our schools, to pay taxes here, to work within our industries? That's called legal migration. The majority of the wealth that is created here in the United States of America is not being created by people that's passing on generational wealth. It's being created by people that are innovating, first-time millionaires and migrants that come over into the country and create great companies and then employ American workers and pay the most taxes. That is a fact. That is not my opinion. Nobody is against migration. Everybody is against illegal migration. So when y'all say stuff like this, it shows me how ignorant you are, because chances are a lot of people wouldn't even have a job if it wasn't for some of these people that come over here and innovate inside the United States of America. So I don't even know what y'all saying.
Stephen, I want to start. I want to bring to you this from the Wall Street Journal editorial board backing Trump on Sunday, writing, Trump may be wrong in trying to save TikTok, but he is right to endorse the value of H-1B visas in the dispute between Elon Musk and Steve Bannon. Mr. Trump is choosing the side of enlightened nationalism as opposed to the blinkered declinist version. So how do you square this with his America First mantra that...
Lamar says, I don't know why this is so controversial now. This isn't a new thing. Because Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy mentioned it, and they talked about American culture. Nobody was thinking about it. Listen, most people that are now concerned and weighing in on this issue had no insight whatsoever about the H-1B visa program. They had no clue. They never worked with it. They never even seen anybody that mentioned it. They don't know anybody that's a part of the H-1B visa program. All of their friends is in the hood, and the only people that they follow on Instagram are rappers. Most people that are now weighing in on this are ops. They're trolls. And that's not all, But it's a lot of people. Listen, all of a sudden, all of these women they becoming experts on H-1 visa program. Get the hell out of here. You ain't even got a passport yourself, but all of a sudden you an expert on the H-1B visa program. You never even knew it existed. You never even knew it existed. You thought that every migrant that came over into the United States of America was picking strawberries and cherries and doing janitor jobs. All of a sudden, all of the women on Instagram and TikTok is experts on the H-1B visa program. Get the hell out of here. You ain't know nothing about no visa program. You thought that the only reason that people came over here was to pick cherries and you only heard about passport bros. That's the only thing you knew. And Brittany Griner leaving Russia. Nah, they all of a sudden experts and you concerned about the H-1B visa program. You don't even know nobody. You don't know nobody that's on the H-1B visa program. Nah, you concerned. You ain't got to worry about it. Listen, you in particular don't have to worry about nobody taking your job because it's plentiful jobs getting them fries. Get my fries hot. I'm coming through the drive-thru in a minute. I want them hot. Don't give me that old stuff sitting under that red light. I want new fries. New fries, and put my salt on there too. Lightly salted. They not coming to take your job. I promise you. Ain't nobody angling to get an H-1B visa to take your job. They not using your tax dollars. They not taking your jobs. They not tripping off of you at all.
They arguably propelled him back to the White House.
Well, I think this goes to my point I made with the talking about the Johnson raid. He's going to have to get involved, I think, a little bit more deeply. A lot of this disagreement happened over the holiday when he really wasn't involved. And once he did, it has declined some. And even the people who are still opposed are attacking Musk, notably, not Donald Trump. I think that's a very notable tone and message change. And I think, look,
they going to
really
take good paying American jobs. You don't know nobody. You don't know nobody. All y'all keep saying, yeah, I work in tech. Man, you work in a call center, bro. And there's nothing wrong. It ain't nothing. You do support. You do support. You know, when they call in and say, hey, man, my computer not working. Internal support. And then they get on the phone with you and you say, yeah, okay, so the first thing that you probably need to do, did you reset your computer? Yeah, I reset my computer. Okay, so let's troubleshoot this for a second. Do you have everything turned off in your cubicle? Is there a power issue? You ain't built NAM program. You ain't been a scrum master. You ain't been a product owner or project manager. You ain't been a software engineer, front end, back end. You don't know the basic languages. You don't know HTML. You don't know JavaScript. You don't know CSS. You don't know what are we talking about? Like, come on, stop. They not trying to take your job. I promise you. I know them. I can call them right now. They not trying to take your job. They're not trying to take your job. 100%. 100%. Stop telling me that I need to reset my computer. I did that 3 times already. Stop telling me, do you want to change your password, Anton? No! I changed my password already. Stop telling me to reset my password. Did you reset your password? You just reading from a script and you selecting something on you selecting a piece of software. You're going through the answers and the pros and the cons that A, Anton Daniels designed for you, and then B, some engineer on an H-1B visa program has developed for you on your screen. You don't even know that we training you to use the software that's being developed by somebody that was on an H-1B visa program. That's the truth. It's the honest to God truth.
We're also seeing, again, to bring it back to Congress, I think Republicans are very, very keen in the fact that their first priorities, they need to be things that unify. So look, H-1B is an important immigration part. I don't think it'll be in that first package.
Let's go on to the next
with this fissure.
You just reading the script that we put in because we reprogrammed Salesforce to be what we wanted it to be. So now you just reading off the script that we gave you. That's it. That's it. Did you reboot your computer? Did you turn off your router and leave your router off for unplug it, leave your router off for 10 seconds and plug it back up. Okay. Oh, Anton, how can I get into tech? Every time you meet a girl, yeah, I work in tech. I work in tech. Stop telling people that y'all got to stop lying to these women too. Stop lying to women and telling them that you work in tech, because then they're gonna be thinking, oh man, girl, I got me a guy. And it ain't nothing wrong. Listen, I do call center support. I did it before. I know what it is. When people ask, what do you do for a living? Yeah, I do call center support. I'm trying to level up. They'll respect you more. And if you create a very low barrier to entry, like if you set the expectations really low, if they still rocking with you, that mean they chose to be there. They chose to be there. If you set the expectations low, Miss Grunty, if you set the expectations low, then that means that if they stick with you, they know who you are. So they can't come back later and say, oh, no, he tried to finesse me and act like he was some kind of engineer. He was in a cloud. He was some cybersecurity professional. You gonna get there. You gonna get there. But don't keep trying to finesse us, making it seem like I'm a support engineer. Yeah. You in the call center on the board that I designed for you, seeing how many calls that you can take in an hour. And we got these Amazon gift cards at the end of the month for the best performer. We all started somewhere. You can't start at the top. You got to work your way up. I got these Amazon gift cards for whoever is the best performer, because we gamifying it to trying to get y'all to do a better job. And stop picking the wrong thing in Salesforce, because we monitoring your phone calls. We monitor your phone calls. We trying to see if you getting out of order. And we gonna bring you in and we gonna do a review of your phone call. I done did it. I sat down. See, listen, you went off script, big dog. What you mean? I do this all the time, Anton. No, listen, we don't want you going off script. We need consistency. We want redundancy. Do you know what? I don't know what redundancy mean. Okay, all right. So listen, Janet, I'm gonna let you take care of this one. I got to get back out to the floor because I got a lot of agents that I got to make sure is really trained in this software, and we need people on board. I'm gonna let you explain redundancy to Jameson over here. I'm gonna let you explain redundancy to Jameson over here. Get Jerome in here. Let's see what Jerome got. Ah. Oh man. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. Join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right. Let me go ahead and read these super chats. AD question. Do you think you can mix cybersecurity and software engineering? Yeah, why not? Had to talk to a female friend who was in the Navy, and she stated that that the two do not mix. In a way, it does. It does mix. It's not that it mixes as far as your job responsibilities, but I think that having knowledge of what happens within software engineering absolutely helps you in cybersecurity. But I think that you need to specialize in one. So I would specialize in cybersecurity if I was you. Shout out to Amir. Great question. You are one of three, supporter, voter, or observer. Shout out to David Simpson. I appreciate you. Scooby Don in the building says Myron was over on Patrick Bet Dave and begging for a debate, saying him and that racist white dude will challenge anybody. They so Why would they be over there begging Patrick Bet David for a debate? Patrick Bet David is a businessman. Key says, good afternoon, AD and fellow bag chasers. If you had a direct-to-consumer physical product business as your main source of income, what would you do to increase your sales and grow financially? God bless everybody. Direct-to-consumer physical product business as your main source of income. What would you do to increase sales and grow financially? I would learn marketing. Marketing is one of the greatest sales tools of all time. And one of the things that I would deep dive into is influencer marketing. If you want to sell your product, you got to get somebody else that represents your product well to sell it to their audience. If you want to go direct to consumer, then you need to incentivize other people to sell your product for you. And influencer marketing is the best way to do that. Influencer marketing, that's how I would grow my sales. Influencer marketing is exactly how I would grow my sales. David Simpson says MAGA is a coalition. No coalition agrees 100%. Scooby Don says they were asking to challenge PBD about H-1B visas. I think that they're getting cornier and cornier, to be honest with you. Johnson on that Kevin McCarthy ish. He's so MAGA, yet he was willing to allow CSR to go through with all that pork in it, the spending bill. He got to go. Put in Byron Donalds. Man, Byron Donalds don't want to do that. And can the speaker fundraise? Cynthia Haynes then goes on to say, I want to wish you a happy new year, sir. I'm going to need your support on the Michigan water affordability bill. All right, Cynthia, hit me up. Holla at me. Elon Musk can't go to the moon, says Antoine. Ira Gordon says, India and China have their own Silicon Valley. We are not getting the best. The majority of H-1Bs are entry-level to mid-level engineer bench warmers that can't get a job in their country, and that will work for $20,000 to $30,000 cheaper. That's not entirely true. I feel like we are in the revenge of the nerves. You want the job, put in the hours, or study like we did. We weren't partying. We were building networks. Talk to him, Nightjade. H-1Bs are going to 7-Eleven. Oh, Jesus. Going to 7-Eleven cashiers. They need to reform and open more entry-level jobs to citizens, tighten up the student visas too. NWA was better in the 80s and the 90s, says, check out Mark Dice's video on this. He's on it. All right, I'll check it out. Send it to me. Email it to me. Reese Anderson says, what about Dreamers? Trump did nothing for them in his 4 years and now threatens to deport them. And Anton, you full of crap. 99% of murderers. 99% of murderers is done by citizens. What? I don't understand. Let me read that again. Because it's not one period in this thing or one comma. All right. What about Dreamers Trump? All right. What about Dreamers? Question mark. I'm assuming that that's what you were saying. Trump did nothing. Nothing is not N-U-T-H-I-N. Nothing is N-O-T-H-I-N-G. All right. Nothing for them in his 4 years, and A&D now threatens, not threats, to deport them, and A&D, Anton, YOU, full of crap. 99% of murders is done by citizens. All right. So I'm not really sure where you were going with that. I just had to do a quick spell check in real time. All right. Y'all can run y'all stuff through Grammarly, or you can put it on Word and you can do a spell check and you can figure out how to type that more effectively. However you want to do it is how you do it. However you want to do it is how you do it. Listen, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying I don't know what to make of that because I had to figure it out on the fly. But thank you, Reese Anderson, for contributing into the platform. You are absolutely valued. You know you are. You are an awesome human being. Janice says, you be spitting bars, AD, sick of the dusties. Shout out to my girl, Janice. Working at 1-800-REBO. Shout out to Jay Hunter Lee. Half can't even read the script right and get fired for it. Talk about it. It'd be hard to get them to follow the script. They keep doing it their own way. Hey, listen, it says, welcome. How can I help you? And then you on there, what up, though? How you doing, big dog? No, that's not what we said in the script. It's welcome. How can I help you? Welcome, pause. How can I help you? Magnetar17 says, my personal favorite is when they still send me emails after I already said 3 times I can't connect to the VPN. to the VPN. My girl Mika says, data scientist? No, baby girl. Deal IT support. Ain't nothing wrong with a little IT support. You think software engineers should switch to cybersecurity? Nah. Not necessarily. I just think that they need to continue to make sure that they work on their skill set and don't get too relaxed. As far as being a a software engineer, you constantly have to be learning and you constantly have to continue to grow. Sifo, shout out to Sifo. I appreciate you. The Gray Way says, good morning, AD. I don't have much. It don't matter if you don't have much. I love you anyway, big dog. But I have to bless the ones who blesses me every day. Thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. You've poured so much into our lives, showing us what's possible. Thank you. Thank you, The Gray Way. I appreciate you. I love you. And thank you to everybody that contributes to the platform. You are absolutely awesome. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with this. Let's talk about infighting erupting over immigration visas. And Elon Musk, now going to war with people that's within the organization, according to what the left is saying. Now, again, I don't want anybody to say that I'm biased because I'm going to look at this from all fronts, right? We're going to use MSNBC as a source. We know that that is a left-leaning liberal organization. To substantiate our arguments on this, let's continue.
I repeat this. The H-1B visa program is a total and complete scam to destroy the American worker. That's what we see everybody this weekend. Oh, this is an op. Can't we all just get together and have a group hug? No, we're not going to get together and have a group hug. You're either going to learn how to fight or get the hell off the battlefield.
It's the F the group hug moment for the MAGA movement. Hi again, everybody. It was just a matter of when, right? Not if, but when. And yet the fact that Donald Trump's two most prominent supporters are already engaged in an ugly public civil war before Donald Trump has even stepped foot anywhere close to the Oval Office again is riveting.
What? Is she making it up on the fly, or is she just reading the words wrong that's on the screen? Because I know how it works over there at MSNBC. I'm aware of how it works over there at MSNBC. She don't even know what she about to say. They want this to be such an issue so bad that they are winging it, and they're genuinely trying to create ops within the party.
Civil war before Donald Trump has even stepped foot anywhere close to the Oval Office again is riveting, instructive, least surprising thing to happen so far. I don't know. For today's purposes, we'll call it a lesson in what happens when a political movement is grounded not in set of policies or even a ideology that's recognizable, but in one person. The central tension this afternoon is around the issue of immigration, as it so often is in today's Republican Party, specifically the use of, we'll call them work permits. They're called H-1B visas. They allow companies in the United States to bring in foreign workers, talent not available here, in their view, for specialized roles on a short-term basis, but easily renewed. In one corner of this political smackdown is the guy you just saw, Steve Bannon. He's aligned with the Laura Loomers of the world, and they insist that American jobs are for American workers, including these jobs. In the other corner, the other MAGA titans, people like Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, who at one time worked in this country on an H-1B visa. They maintain that an American emphasis on, their words, quote, mediocrity over excellence, end quote, has created a need for additional high-skilled labor. And you can only get them from other countries, and for that you need these visas. So Musk went so far as to call some Trump supporters, quote, contemptible fools, end quote, over the matter. Things got so heated that Trump himself had to mediate. He weighed in the New York Post, saying that he, quote, has always liked these visas. Whether it settles the issue or not, or whether this is even the visa that he thinks it is unclear, but it is a sign of what's to come. David Brooks points out in the New York Times this, quote, this is not a discrete one-off dispute. This is the kind of core tension you get in your party when you do as Trump has done, taken a dynamic free market capitalist party and infused it with protective, backward-looking reactionary philosophy. We're going to see this kind of dispute also when it comes to economic regulation, trade, technology policy, labor policy, housing policy, and so on. It's also where we start the hour with some of our favorite experts and friends. Former chief Republican strategist and senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, Stuart Stevens, is here. Also joining us, professor of history at New York University, Ruth Ben-Ghiat, is back. And with me at the table for the hour, distinguished political scholar, professor at Princeton University, Eddie Glaude's here. Stuart Stevens, let me just start with the personalities. Love him or loathe him, Steve Bannon's the guy that went to jail for Donald Trump. I would never bet against Steve Bannon. I mean, just weigh in on the sort of brutality and the public nature of this very early, very vicious fight between Steve Bannon and Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's absolutely delicious to watch, and were it not so impactful for the future of the country, you could laugh at it. Bannon is a guy who has defined himself as a thug, and thugs must do thuggish things. I think that Elon Musk has no idea what he's getting into when he gets in a fight with Steve Bannon over this. And, you know, under all of this sort of, I suspect Bannon thinks about this. There's a very good chance, there's been a lot of reporting that Elon Musk was not a student when he got a visa. And when he got his, went through his process of becoming a naturalized citizen, that he put false information on that document. If that's true, that is grounds for revoking the citizenship. It happens all the time. And under the Trump, that would mean deporting Musk and his children. You know, you could make a case that one of the reasons Musk is so obsessed with immigration is because he knows this. I think
where do they find these people from?
Where
do they find these people at? Where do they find these people at? Honest to God. These are some of the dumbest takes from some of the oldest people that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Heart and soul of MAGA out there, I'm with you. I would not bet against Steve Bannon.
I want to deal with the substance of this, and I promise to do that. But because for Trump, it's never about the substance, I want to stay with the leading
Musk
men in
is a
Trump's
citizen
life
of the United States of
Stuart
America
Stevens.
that became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2002. What the hell is he talking about? Honest to God, what is he talking about?
Yeah, that Elon Musk is the alpha only exists in a world where Trump can be bought. And what's so amazing to me is that Trumpism has always been transactional for Trump, but we've never seen the public display of someone else getting to grift off Trump's presidency. Elon Musk feels like the beta for that, right? A real test case. How do you think that's going to go?
Well, you know, what Elon Musk has discovered very quickly, he's a very smart guy, is what every foreign intelligence agency discovered about Donald Trump. If you pet him, he'll follow you home. And that's all he cares about. He needs approval from people like Elon Musk. Elon Musk, in some ways, is what he pretends to be. Elon Musk is the wealthiest person in the world. This is what Donald Trump would like to be. So getting approval from that person, that means a lot to Donald Trump. It goes back to, you know, he's the guy from Queens. It's a true statement.
All right, I've heard enough. I was trying to, honestly, my goal was to give liberals an opportunity in these. I see why the MSNBCs are suffering. I see why their ratings are plummeting. I see why they've fallen off. I see why Fox News is eating their lunch. I see why the CNNs are suffering. Is because they got these long, drawn-out soliloquies that have no relevance, and all of it is just how they feel about somebody, and it doesn't actually speak to the facts. Honest to God, man, listen, I gave it 6 minutes and 27 seconds. I listened. I didn't skip anything. I didn't speed it up. I wanted to see exactly what the old folks over there on MSNBC love about this stuff. And the fact of the matter is, you don't deport Iron Man. That sounds crazy. Nobody is worried about Iron Man being deported. Nobody. Nobody. He's created one of the greatest American countries in our lifetime. In our lifetime, very few people have been able to create a company that exceeds the combined worth of other automakers that are traditional in the space. Honest to God. And what they want is they want us to fight so bad. They want us to hate each other so bad. They want everybody to shut up and dribble. They want to be silent. But no, I think that having an input of two of the world's most successful billionaires and thought leaders is probably more conducive for what it is that we have going on inside of America versus all of this propaganda that's being spewed on MSNBC. I want to hear this nonsense. I do want to hear some other nonsense. Let's move over to Don Lemon real quick. I'll read Super Chat shortly, but I want to go over to Don Lemon real quick. So somebody told me that Don Lemon was crashing out about this H-1B visa program, and he started calling all of the MAGA supporters idiots and dummies and all of this stuff. I got to see this for myself. Let me see something.
Marching to do whatever. I'm going to be at home cooking dinner for my family and my friends.
Oh, he's going to be cooking dinner for his family and his friends. Ain't that what females do? I'm not going to get into that. Let me see what it is. They said it's in the beginning.
I'm taking food. Came out really good.
Ain't it funny how people that used to be on CNN and stuff like that, now they trying to do what we do? I find that hilarious that the people that used to disregard and say that we wasn't content creators and we wasn't YouTubers, we just YouTubers, are literally doing the exact same thing and trying to build a platform in the same way that we have. I find that hilarious, honestly. Let's see if we can find it.
Tell you about that. Okay. Had a little margaritas with that. So ethnic backgrounds, quail, surprise. I never saw that coming. Yeah, exactly. And so if you were taken by this whole tech bro Doge thing, oh, and also, we're going to deport migrants. Oh my gosh. Do you guys know how most people come here? I told you this. I've been telling you this for years. They come here, they overstay on airplanes, and they overstay their visas. And guess what?
That is not, listening to the propaganda, it's not true. The majority of people that came over here into this country over the last 3.5, 4 years came over here illegally. The majority of people that came over into this country over the last 3.5 years, because you have to look at different time periods of history. All right. For example, when Trump was in office, we had a record low amount of people that was crossing over into the borders illegally, because despite the fact that he was getting pushed back from every angle and every legislator, he did, and he continued the policies and capitalized off of the same policies as Obama. Obama was able to successfully defend the border also. What you've seen over the last 3.5 years was an influx of tens of millions of people that were coming over here illegally. And this is one of the reasons why people started holding the Biden administration and Kamala Harris accountable for illegal migrants coming into this country. But for years, there has been other ways in which people have taken advantage of the system. I've highlighted it on this program several times. For example, Asian people, Chinese people have long had this whole thing to where they want to have their children to have dual citizenship. And so what they do is they hide their pregnancies and they come over here as a visitor, and then they have their children over here in the United States of America, and then they are naturalized citizens as a result of it. And then we have the dreamers. And then we have all of these people that were born here in the United States of America, but their parents came over here illegally. Okay. So there's a lot of context to this, but he wants to just single it down so that he can try to make it seem as though he was right about the fact that people are overstaying their visas. There are people overstaying their visas, but the majority of the people, especially over the last 3.5 to 4 years, did not come over here because they overstayed their visas. As a matter of fact, we issue less than 100,000 H-1B visas every single year inside of the United States of America alone. But there were millions that was crossing over into the borders every single year. Let's continue. And that ain't even the people that was being flown over here.
The tech folks like that. And they're part of the problem, because they're keeping those people here because they want them, because they believe they're good workers. They're people, and they don't have a lot of leverage, right? If you don't work hard, they mostly cannot unionize. And they work in the tech fields, a lot of them. In Silicon Valley, a lot of them. And now they're figuring out, without these people, we cannot do our tech jobs. But guess who knew that? The tech bros knew that. The folks who are supporting Donald Trump, the folks who you want to put in charge of the Doges already knew that. And so it is the same thing. There's a correlation here. They're realizing if you get rid of these, and it's HB1 visa folks, that's what they're fighting over. I'll get to that and explain.
No, that's not what's happening. The H-1B visa program has been in existence for decades. That is not anything new. That's a part of legal migration. All right. The only reason that we're having this conversation is because we want to incentivize, and Elon Musk mentioned bringing over the best and the brightest for the United States of America to stay ahead through legal migration. It's not a loophole. It's something that's been in existence for us to make sure that we build in the best companies in the world. The problem that MAGA had and the problem that people were having was people being dropped off into these cities, for example, Springfield, Ohio, where the population grew 33% because it was 40,000 people in there, and then you just seen 20,000 Haitian migrants to just come over there and just dropped off inside of the country. The problem that people have was these gangs that was taking over the apartments over in Aurora in Colorado and these blue towns. The problem that people was having was the fact that we were subsidizing their lifestyle by allowing for them to stay in luxury hotels for years and giving them our tax dollars for them to come over and then take over our jobs. We were incentivizing it, and we were giving away billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in taxpayer money to do so. The problem that people were having was because it was giving them tens of thousands of dollars in food stamps and cash for them to spend money to make sure that they support themselves. And then these migrants was then squatting in houses and then preventing the people that actually legally own the houses from being able to kick them out. That was the problem, was that these jails was being emptied to allow for migrants to come over here, and then they were committing some of the most heinous crimes against American citizens. This has nothing to do with what Americans were voting for. Legal migration has never been a problem. As a matter of fact, we have one of the largest Arab communities. We have the largest Arab communities that generate a ton of wealth here in Michigan, right over in Dearborn, literally right up the street from Detroit, right next to Detroit. Actually, the people that customize my car, I got a great relationship with them. Right over in Dearborn, we have one of the highest and most successful zip codes over in Dearborn Heights, and some of the largest houses of people that are building wealth inside of Michigan. And so legal migration isn't an issue. It's illegal migration that people had a problem with, especially during the pandemic and when we had record low wage growth and record high inflation.
If you get rid of those folks, then the tech folks can't do their jobs. The technology industry. Just as if you try to get rid of the migrants and some of the folks who come here, quite honestly, illegally, then you can't. Then you, folks in the farming industry, in the service industries, and in any other industries, they won't be able to do their jobs. Some farmers say, without these workers, they have about 2 days that they can run their farms, and then after that, it's over.
Look at the painting that's on the right side of the screen. Look at the painting on the right side of the screen.
My gosh, I love this. Now you're finding out, you dumb fucking idiots. Now you're just figuring this shit out. You're so fucking stupid, and you deserve it. You fucking deserve it because you're so dumb. Jim, it's hypocrisy. So go with me here. Yes, I am gloating over your stupidity and how you were taken. I'm cackling in Kamala, in Shanta. I am.
He said he's cackling.
You have been co-opted because you're in a fucking cult and you don't even realize it because you have stupid MAGA brain and you don't get it. How stupid and dumb are you? And I'm just going to I can't wait to go through this. Okay. So I'm going to read this again. So Krishnan's appointment triggered an anti-Indian backlash on social media, particularly given his...
Oh, man. Shout out to Don Lemon crashing out and giving us this good content. They said that MAGA is a cult. MAGA is a cult. Make America Great Again is a cult. From people that have historically, regularly voted Democrat for their entire lives. Make America Great Again, the slogan itself, and people that support it is in a cult. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Lemon for the crash out. Don Lemon for the crash out, y'all. Listen, a lot of these people just be talking, and because they have some visibility, y'all listen to them. I would always advocate for healthy dialogue and debate. What that does, especially within a party, because a debate doesn't have to always be against people that are on the opposite side. Within your own party, within your own company, all right, within your own families, you guys should be having healthy dialogue and debate on what's best for the family or what the next moves are, because you want the best for it, and everybody has good ideas, or some people may not have the understanding, or some people may need to be brought up to snuff, or some people may be experts in one particular field, and then we can combine that insight with something else that somebody else is saying and doing, and then we get the best possible product. Never stop innovating, never stop debating, never stop having that healthy conversation, because again, what that allows for you to do is to have the best product possible. The best product, the best results possible. And so when you see people like Don Lemon crashing out and they calling MAGA a cult and stuff like that, don't worry about it. Let them do what they do. Let them try to figure it out. Let Don Lemon try to figure out what it is that he's going to do and how he's going to play things. He got bigger things to worry about. Trust me, he got much bigger things to worry about. Anyways, let's continue to get on with the show. I want to read the rest of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get y'all out of here. I got a final thought for y'all. I had one more thing, but nah, I'll save it for tomorrow. I got a final thought for y'all. Green Monster says some of these people need chat GBT. That's a fact. Sifo says, ask them how many H-2B visas get approved per year. Abe the Hunter says the fact is Americans are behind on these studies and will take us 5 to 6 years to catch up. Mrs. Amazing Avis says the Dems are grasping for straws. People have differences of opinions within the same organizations and groups all the time. Facts. Ziggy says, bringing my B-Day with a bag. Next year, we all about growth, investing, and removing the nonsense out of our lives. Shout out to you. Tax Club is a must, please. Non-real estate methods. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Rush King is in the building, says, they are trying to make something out of nothing. Disagreeing with others is healthy as a group. They are too used to cults where you kiss the feet. Full We Todd says, I don't know about that 99% murder thing, but I know for a fact that those stats don't include illegal immigrants. In New York City, 75% of their arrests are illegal immigrants, which they don't have to report the stats to ICE. Interesting. Anton, I appreciate that advice. Looking forward to getting Mika the ring she deserves. I heard she sings well. I heard she sings while I'm also an audio engineer. Shout out to you. Don Lemon and his lemon drops. Peep his TV. Yeah, I did see his TV. NWA was better in the 80s and the 90s, says, I just emailed you the Mark Dice video link. Okay, thank you for that. For the game, Happy New Year. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tyree Ballard. This zesty ninja got on a shirtless man on his wall. He's drunker than Kamala. A.R. Smitty says, I knew Don is a sass master, but this is new level, dog. Rush King says they want slave labor. We want qualified labor. Smooth Artist says we are experiencing crack breakdown. Mika says in LGBT talk, AD he thought he ate. Don Lemon is an embarrassment to life itself. Bripto Briz says, I have a question for Dumb Lemon. Which farm do the migrants in NYC work in? And Amen01 says million cookies. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all for holding me down and making sure that Time Dog is supported on this platform. All right, so final thoughts. Enjoy your friends, your loved ones, and your families, and put yourself in a position to be successful. Tap into the Patreon in the morning or first thing when the clock strikes 12:01. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into After Hours tonight. If you have not tapped into After Hours tonight, then Happy New Year. Hit a like for the algorithm if this is your first time here. If it's not your first time here and you've been here more than once, you should already be subscribed and you should already have on your notifications. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest audience on earth. We back at it tomorrow morning. I do plan on doing a live stream in the afternoon for the Patreon members on the first of the year. And we are going to run it up. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest of all time. And shout out to my dog, Class C Beats, and everybody that support the platform. I love you. I appreciate you. Happy New Year to all of you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm out. Peace.